Dan Keon. I'm with Toronto Public Library, and I've organized my comments around the skill areas that Toronto Public Library would be looking for when they're hiring librarians, and I've tried to also relate them to some of the work duties that you would find at Toronto Public Library. The skill areas I'm speaking of are beyond what we would know you would come out of a graduate program with. So they don't talk about basic professional skills that you would get in your program. The first skill area that Toronto Public Library would identify for new graduates who are looking to work with the TPL would be an interest and an ability in building relationships. And in terms of Toronto Public Library, we are looking for librarians who are comfortable and interested in going outside the library into the community and establishing ongoing working relationships with community groups and agencies. And in the words of the city librarian, Jane Piper, she's new to the job and obviously influential in terms of how these situations are viewed in the library. This for her is the key. And some of the partners TPL works with would be settlement workers, agencies like the CNIB, the Toronto Community Councils, and we also do high school outreach. And the type of outreach and building of relationships that I'm speaking of is important to TPL for two reasons. And the first reason is it's viewed as a way to increase awareness in the community of library services, which the library is always trying to do. And two, and more important, it's a primary way in which the library continues to be responsive and relevant to Torontonians. So it's that we're not talking just about taking out the Toronto Public Library message and delivering it. We also want to hear what people want from the library. And in new librarians, hiring managers are interested in that, obviously in the public service area. Less so in the support areas, like our technical services, our bibliographic services. But a later point, it's important for all. And the building of relationships is also considered important for the internal workings of the library, because the service that's provided is to a large extent developed within service committees. So we are looking for librarians who work well in that kind of committee structure. And to give you an example, one of the issues that is underway at the moment is trying to link the program of the Children's Services Group with the Web Services Group, so that at the end, those two services are mutually supportive and there aren't inconsistencies or worse, conflicts between them. So that's the first important skill and interest area that TPL would identify. The second is related to that, and TPL looks for librarians who are interested in working in a dynamic environment. There are some jobs at TPL that involve working with materials or computers in a relatively isolated environment and on long-term projects. But they are far and away the fewest number of jobs. Most often, the librarians have to be responsive to significant and ongoing changes in priorities. And I always think of it in terms of we are looking for staff, and especially professional staff, librarian staff, who are nimble. And to give you an example from a recent example, as a result of the downturn in the economy in the fall of 2008, the City of Toronto asked the library to participate in a broad initiative to assist Torontonians who were looking for work. So within the library, particularly within the librarian group, there was a shifting of gears, and people in collection development, in programming and outreach, had to direct their attention to this city objective, which was to get resources to people who suddenly found themselves out of work and in need of retraining or recertification, or if they're new to Canada, getting materials to allow them to get credentials confirmed. So